Why did Griffith grape Casca if he didn't hate her? And you know what we do around here, folks. So let's talk about it. So Griffith didn't do the act because he hated Casca. Let's get that straight out now. He ended up doing that act as a kind of psychological warfare against Guts. He wanted to make sure and hurt Guts in a very powerful and violent and excruciating way. He wanted Guts to just feel pain, like a punishment for everything that he has done. Because Griffith did not love Casca in a romantic way. And during such Eclipse, while Guts is being restrained and being forced to watch, making this sexual act as a weapon towards Guts' mind and spirit. And Griffith knows how much Casca matters to Guts. In a very twisted way, Griffith is making sure that Guts can never separate him from Casca. Meaning that every time that he thinks of Casca, he has to remember the events of the Eclipse. And what's also sad about the act is that he's also doing it as a way of control or ownership. Because Griffith spiraling out of control when Guts decides to leave, well, it shows that Griffith can no longer possess Guts. The one single person he wanted to possess, guess what? He wasn't able to. Inserting in now the Eclipse, well, you have a reassertion of dominance, which is what Griffith wanted to do with that act itself. He wants to prove and make a point that he is the one who's dominant over Guts. The feeling of you don't just get to take something away from me while not being able to feel some kind of way. He definitely wanted to decide what was going to happen to Guts. And if you guys recall, well, Griffith already had a wounded ego prior to the Eclipse itself. In the carriage scene, he literally forces himself on Casca. The guy can't even move and he still manages a way to try and sexually dominate Casca to try and prove a point. That is definitely not love, that is definitely desperation and entitlement, and definitely trying to control a situation. And of course, we always have to remember that Femto is Griffith with his humanity amputated. And you know what amputates that humanity? Well, that is the act itself. The irreversible betrayal is what makes you realize that Griffith is no longer the same kind of person that he was prior to the Eclipse. He is now Griffith transformed. So why did he do the act if he didn't hate her? Because the act itself is not presented as hate versus love. He solely did it for pure dominance. And Griffith knew that doing that to Casca was the most efficient way to punish Guts and permanently scar him for the rest of his life.